I never have to worry about falling off from the gym for the rest of my life. And I can confidently say that because of this exact process that I'm about to show you, that I've implemented for myself and for all my clients. I've served over 200 of them since I was 19, started in person, did over 3,000 sessions. Now I train online. And this exact framework is exactly what I use to make sure that we stay consistent, disciplined, and sustainable, and make sure that we don't fall off. Okay, and it all revolves around the metaphor of building a house, right? So like, if getting fit was like building a house, and I asked you, I said, hey, I want you to just build this house. And I didn't tell you why we were building it. I didn't tell you what the finished house was gonna look like. The only instruction was, just go start building. Okay, you might like show up, like maybe you kind of have an idea how to build, like maybe you got some materials and like you're like, all right, I'm just gonna start. And like a couple days goes by, you kind of start building and it's a little boring, it's a little tiring. You know, the sun is beating and you're getting kind of sweaty and you're like, you know what, like it's kind of hard. I got other stuff to do. I'm just gonna like leave this unfinished house here and just, you know, go hang out with my friends, or, you know, just like go watch some Netflix or go scroll social media, right? But then imagine another scenario where before we start building, I actually call you over. I'm like, hey, like, I want to show you something, right? And we come over, like we're looking at this blueprint together of what the finished house is going to look like, right? And we realize, like, dang, this is your dream house. Like, we're painting this vision of what it's going to feel like living in this house. And we realize, like, man, this excites you. This lights you on fire, and you can see it with clarity, and you can see it with detail in your head, and you're just start getting excited. You're like, man, I can't wait to spend the rest of my life living in this house, right? And then I tell you, hey, okay, now go start building, right? And this time, right, you're not showing up and just like not know what you're doing. You're showing up and you're excited. You're showing up with motivation, right? And a couple of days goes by when it gets a little hard, you're not gonna just fall off. You're gonna know what you're fighting for, what you're working towards, and it's gonna give you the courage to keep pushing through, keep laying the bricks, and keep working towards building that house. Okay, same exact thing when it comes to our fitness. Okay, a lot of people, what they do when they wanna start getting fit, they don't actually envision what it's gonna look like if they were a fit person, if they were a healthy, strong, confident person, right? Because they've never actually been that before, it's really hard for them to even think of it like, hey, what's it gonna look like? They don't actually believe that it's possible for them. But a lot of people, they have a limited self-image that they can never outwork it. They can never outrun it. They're like held down, they're chained down by this limited self-image. So unless you're able to create a vivid vision, a blueprint that gets you excited, and you have clarity on, hey, what is it gonna look like if I was a fit person? If I was muscular, how would that affect my energy? How would that affect the way I show up to my work, to my career, to my relationships? Right, when I look in the mirror and I see like a fit body looking back at me, like, how is that gonna affect just the way that I think about myself? How is it gonna affect the way that I carry myself when I'm spending time with my friends, right? And until you can actually create this vision of what it's gonna look like when you are that person, it's gonna be very hard to have that consistent motivation, that why, that you're willing to push for, that you're willing to fight for, that you're willing to work for. So that's stage one when it comes to consistency and sustainability, is we need clarity on that blueprint, okay? Once we have clarity on that blueprint, and it's exciting, it's motivating, right? The next step is, right, we're showing up to build, we got our blueprint, we fold it, and we keep it in our pocket, right? Like a bad blueprint is one that you make and then you just like put it in the drawer by your bed and you never think about it. Okay, a powerful blueprint, a powerful vision is something that you look at every single day, right? So like what I do for myself and for my clients, like I'll show you, is this blueprint, this becomes the wallpaper on our phones, okay? Every single one of my clients, the exact same thing. We have a vivid blueprint, a vivid vision of what the most fit version of them, how that's gonna affect their life, and we keep it top of mind all the time. That becomes our North Star. That's what we push for, that's what we fight for, and then we look at it every single day. We remind ourselves, hey, this is who I'm becoming, right? And when you do that enough, you can finally break from those chains of that limited self-image. You can actually give yourself the permission to adopt a new identity and to just become worthy of it, right? A lot of you, like, you just have like this made up story in your head that you're not worthy of being a fit person, which is totally like just false and limiting, and it's just a story that you're making up in your brain, right? So until you give yourself the permission to rewrite your story, just become a completely different version of you, it's gonna be very hard to get results that actually last, and that you don't, get results that last and that you like don't break from. Like, it just becomes you. They become rooted into your identity. All right, so we got this blueprint, we fold it up, we keep it in our pocket so we can look at it all the time, especially when times get hard. That's when you want to have that blueprint. Okay, the next step is you got to clear the rubble, right? So if, let's say I'm showing up to like build this house, right? And let's say there was like, right, so we got the blueprint. I'm gonna say right here, let's go. Step one, blueprint. Okay, step two is you want to clear the rubble. Clear the rubble. Okay, so a lot of you, it's like you want to build this house, right? But there's a lot of like trash and rubble that is sitting on the lot, right? So think of it like this. If you show up and you're going to build this house and there's lots of like little like trash, like some tree sticks or who knows what, like there's some trash here, right? You can't start building a house when there's trash. You got to clear out the rubble. Okay, so that's like, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that you can take care of before you even step into this journey of becoming a fit version of you, right? So here's a couple examples. Like my client Justin, when we got on our onboarding call, he was just going to his apartment gym, and he said, he was like, man, like it's really like not very motivating for me to be at this apartment gym. Like they only had dumbbells that went up to like 50 pounds. There wasn't great machines. There wasn't any other fit people that were going there. So he didn't feel like that inspired going there. So what we did, like that would be a perfect example of some rubble that we can clear out. So all we did, instead of having him like say, hey Justin, you need to just be more disciplined, like go make it happen at that apartment gym, like just have better willpower. We just said, you know what, like no, let's just make it easy on you. We're gonna stop going to this crappy gym and we're gonna get a membership to a better gym. And that's exactly what we did. A gym that he actually really liked. You know, he actually invested in the gym, so he felt more like bought into this identity shift because he had some skin in the game too. And that was just like some low-hanging fruit. Okay, some other things that you can do. You might have a bunch of junk food that's just laying around in your house. Okay, one of the best bang for your buck things that you can do when it comes to becoming a fit person is not like just develop your discipline and your willpower so that you make better decisions. Just make it easy on yourself. Just throw away the junk food, right? So literally, you can pause this video right now. Go look into your pantry. I call this the environment audit. Audit your life, audit your pantry, your fridge. Do you have some gushers in there, right? Do you have some stuff that's just not gonna serve you, right? If you're looking in your kitchen and you're like, man, would the most fit version of me, would he have these cookies? Would he have these Chips Ahoy's? Or would he replace that with some good quality fuel, right? And if you have a vision and you give yourself the permission to believe that you could become a fit person, but you're still having a bunch of junk food, snacks, and stuff that a fit person wouldn't eat in your pantry, that's just incongruent. That makes no sense, right? So that's the whole part of why it's so exciting and purposeful to have a vision, but then you need to back that vision with congruent actions, with aligned actions. Right? So you got to audit your environment. What is misaligned in my environment? Do I have too much junk food? Throw it away. Are there people in my life that are dragging me down, that don't actually want me to become a fit person? You got to think about that stuff. Like, you want to surround yourself with people that support the person that you're trying to become, not people that want you to stay exactly where you're at. Okay, you're just doing yourself a disservice if you're just spending time with people that are going to keep you exactly where you're at and keep you stuck. Okay, so give yourself the permission to clear out the rubble. Like, I'm not saying you got to cut people off from your life completely, but I, for one, would not spend 90% of my day talking and hanging out with people that don't actually want me to step into the highest version of myself. Okay, so maybe that means just taking a step back, taking some distance. Another thing you can do to clear the rubble, go on Instagram. All the accounts that you follow that aren't motivating, that aren't inspiring, that's just like trash, go ahead and just unfollow them or like mute all their content, right? So if I ever see a post that is misaligned with the type of stuff that I want to be feeding my mind, stuff about growth, like stuff about good values, good philosophy stuff. If I don't see stuff like that, if I see something like frivolous, like just something like that's just totally random, like just like a video that isn't actually serving me, there's no values behind it, I'm gonna unfollow that account and I'm gonna mute that account. Okay, so you gotta be maniacal about this. You gotta actually take ownership over your environment, clear out the rubble, okay? Make it hard for you to fail. Make it easy for you to succeed, right? Like delete TikTok, delete the YouTube app on your phone. Anything that's distracting you, keeping you exactly where you're at, you gotta be maniacal, remove that from your life, and instead bring in the things that's gonna make it easy for you to win. Go buy the healthy fuel, go get the expensive gym membership, buy a coach, find better friends, and that's such powerful low-hanging fruit that you can do to actually step into a higher version of you. Okay, so that's step number 2, clear the rubble, right? So just to recap, we got the blueprint, we're very clear on who we wanna become, we have a detailed vision that's exciting, motivating, and we actually give ourselves the permission to believe that we can get there, that we can step into a completely new identity and new version of ourselves. We fold up that blueprint, keep it in our pocket, that's our North Star, right? Step number 2, once we're very clear on what it's gonna look like when we are the most fit version of ourselves and we are committed, like, when I say committed, I'm not just saying like, oh yeah, I wanna become a fit person, right? I'm saying like, I'll do whatever the fuck it takes to become a fit person. Okay, that's how serious I am about this. Like, there's an analogy of a army general who's taking his army to, he's taking like his soldiers to war, and they pull up to go invade a country, right? And once they pull up, they all get off the boat. Before they leave, he lights the boat on fire. He says, men, we're either gonna win this war or we're gonna die trying. Retreat is not an option. That's the mindset that you want. It's like, hey, I'm gonna become a fit person. I'm gonna become the highest version of myself. I know exactly what that looks like. I'm excited about it. I don't just want it, I'm committed. I'll do whatever it takes. Retreat is not an option. I will become that person or I will die trying. That's the mindset, right? Once we have that conviction, now we clear out the rubble. We got good friends around us. We have good influences. We dissociate from the things that are keeping us stuck, right? We throw away the junk food. We buy nutritious fuel. Right? We download all the distracting apps, right? We hire coaches, right? All this stuff to make it easy for us to win. Okay, that's step 2, right? So now that rubble is cleared out. Let's go. Now we're starting from neutral. So here's where it gets fun, guys. Okay, step 3. This is where we recruit the team. Recruit the team, okay? If you were gonna build a house, especially if it's an awesome house, I'm telling you, it's very hard to build by yourself. I've tried, right? It's really hard. You wanna have teammates that you're coordinating with, that are building this house with you. Okay, so Napoleon Hill, like one of the goats of personal development, he calls it the mastermind. Right? So it's like you want a board of directors, a team around you as the people that you trust the most. Okay, so if you really, like if you want to honestly just take one thing from this video that could be so easy, you could pause the video and do this right now, and it could be so powerful. Go on your Instagram, make a new Instagram account, title it your name growth journey or your name fitness journey. Follow only the people that you know support you, truly support you, and the people that actually are going to hold you to a higher standard. Don't follow the people that you know just want it easy on yourself, okay? Follow those people, make a post that is a piece of paper and write out, my name, do hereby commit myself to stepping into the most fit version of myself. I'm committing to raising the standard, setting new habits, and changing my life permanently. And then sign your name at the bottom, post it, and then every single day when you show up to your habits, post it on your stories, right? There's a reason I do that every single day, right? One, it keeps you accountable, but two, you're gonna inspire the crap out of people. When they see you actually transforming your life, stepping into a new version of you, you're actually gonna help them change their lives. Because a lot of people, they just don't know what's possible, and by you showing what's possible, you unconsciously liberate their fears. Okay, so you gotta give yourself the unwavering permission to just be the best version of you. And by doing that, you can help so many people because you show them what's possible and then they believe that they can do it for themselves. Okay, so that's the really fulfilling part of it, but also just gonna help you massively. It's gonna help you stay accountable, it's gonna help you raise the standard, and it's gonna really help you step into this new identity. Okay, so that's like recruiting the team. Find who those people are gonna be, right? If you want, make that Instagram account and follow them. Also, hiring a coach, that part is huge, right? Like somebody that you know is in your corner, that you know is leading by example and can go on this journey with you. Like I've hired 4 coaches. I've invested over $25,000 in coaching and I'm only 23. That's like a huge chunk of all my money, and there's a reason I did that. It's not like just because I like to just frivolously spend, okay? I don't. I just know how powerful it is when you have people that are where you want to be and they're on your team. It's like stepping on their shoulders. It's like going through a time portal. You can learn all the lessons that they learned without going through the time and the failures, and you can just adopt all those lessons right away, and it's super powerful. Also, when you invest, especially when it's a lot, you send a massive signal to yourself about how committed you are about creating this identity shift, right? So like if you want to become a fit person, step into a new identity, but you're not willing to even pay for a coach, a gym membership, healthy food, you basically telling yourself unconsciously that you don't actually care, right? But when you step out of your comfort zone, invest money that you don't really have into a coach that's really gonna say, hey, I'm gonna hold your hand and go on this journey with you, you send a massive signal to yourself that, hey, I'm actually serious about this. I'm not playing around this time. And that's the kind of signal that's required for you to actually get the results, okay? You're never gonna get the results just by pretending, by daydreaming. It takes actually courage, stepping into the unknown, doing something uncomfortable, like making a big investment into recruiting an awesome team that's gonna help you build this house. All right, that's step 3. All right, step number 4. Right, so just to recap, right? We got our blueprint. It's exciting. We know exactly what the finished house is gonna look like. We know exactly what it means if I was super fit, muscular, confident, and just like stepped into the highest version of myself. We realize how awesome that would be, and that you were actually born to be that person. You weren't born to be mediocre. You weren't born to just be kind of fit. No, you were born to achieve your potential, to be really freaking fit, to be muscular, disciplined, consistent, motivated, hungry. That's who you were born to be. Okay, and we have that blueprint, right? We cleared out the rubble, so now we got like a nice foundation here, right? We got our teammates, right? Whether that's your coach, whether that's a nice mastermind group, whether that's some friends. Biggest thing is you can't have anybody on your team that you think doesn't want to see you win or you think is gonna hold you back. You need people that have been where you want to be, right? That's the kind of teammates that you need, right? Okay, once we do that, now we can gather the tools, right? Gather the tools. It's really hard to build a house with your hands, okay? It's also hard to build a house with just like a hammer. But when you got freaking power tools, it's a little easier. Same exact thing with fitness. It's hard to build muscle when you're just doing home workouts. It's hard to build muscle when you don't have any idea what program to follow and you're just following stuff online. It's hard to build muscle when you have no idea how to do any of the moves, right? It's hard to build muscle when you're just following stuff on social media and there's so much BS out there telling you to just like spend hours in the gym, go crazy, chase the pump, just like make your muscles ache and burn. Like, it does not need to be like that at all. Okay, you can actually be super efficient and effective with your time and energy and do really simple stuff that's way easier to sustain. Okay, so we want to make it easier on you, not harder on you, because we want to think long term. Okay, it's not about just getting the nastiest pump and sweat for this week. It's about, no, what routine can I follow that's going to have me build muscle a month from now, but also 3 decades from now. And that's what we're looking for, right? So I got some phlegm buildup, little mini cold, no problem, keep pushing. Step number 4, right? Gather the tools. Some of my favorite tools. I would never work out without my coaching app, right? Because that actually, I know I'm doing the right stuff. I know exactly the video technique on how to do every exercise, and also have a way to track my progress, right? Big part about anything is you just need to be like improving with anything. It's just measuring the right stuff, right? So when we're keeping track of how much weight we're doing, how many sets and reps, and we're collecting all this data, that's how we know that we're actually being intentional and improving instead of just like spinning our wheels and wasting our time, right? So without that, it would be really hard for me to feel like actually conscious in my workouts and intentional. That's why that's a super powerful tool. Habit tracking is another huge tool, right? So just like a very concise list of, hey, here are the daily disciplines that I need to stick to. And like, it's not like, hey, here's a million things, go be perfect. It's like, hey, no, like let's start with like 1 or 2. And then let's like expand to like 2 or 3, and then like 3 to 4, right? So like my client, Jim, it's actually my dad, we started with just something super simple. We were just like, hey, we're not gonna focus on a million habits. We're just gonna actually get the workout habit in. And we did it every morning. He woke up early before he already works a lot. And we just kind of built it into his routine. Hey, right before your workout, or right before you start your work day, like we're gonna do a quick 30, 45 minute workout. He's done that every single week. He hasn't missed one since October. He's down 40 pounds. He's crushing. Never felt this confident. I'm so freaking proud of him. Another one of my clients, Justin, I've been working with him since October as well. We started with like a couple habits. It was a protein shake and do his A1 greens in the morning, and obviously get the gym in. Now he's got like 8 habits, and he just loves them. He's just like, I just love having all the habits on there, and he just goes every day and he just checks them all off, and he loves having that organization. My client Vincent, who I've been training almost 2 years now, he's got like a ton of habits on there. Like he's got like 10 habits, and he's just in such a habit of like going and marking them off. Right, so just having that extra reminder and that accountability of like, hey, yes, these are the things I need to show up to every day, but I don't just have to remember it all. Like, you probably already have a lot of stuff on your brain to also remember, like, oh, I need to be doing this, this, and this is hard, right? But when you have a tool and a way that you can keep track of everything you should be doing every day, it becomes a lot easier to stick to. All right, that's step number 4, right? And that leads us into the last step, which is step number 5. Which is lay the bricks. Right, so we got our blueprint. We know what we're building. We cleared out the rubble. We got the teammates. We got the tools. Now it's time to lay the frickin' bricks, right? And the bricks are like the habits, okay? So this is where it gets really fun, right? Because at the end of the day, you are what you do repeatedly. That's from Aristotle. You get what you repeat. That's from James Clear. You don't rise to the size of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. James Clear, right? So it doesn't matter how detailed your vision is, you will always fall to the level of your daily habits, okay? So we want to do this the right way, right? Where I've seen a lot of people go wrong is this is where people can be all or nothing. It's like, hey, right now I have some shitty habits. I know I want to be fit. I got to like go be perfect. And they try to do all these perfect habits, but they don't do it in a way that's actually setting them up for sustainable success. They fall off, right? So how we want to set the habits, we want to be very tactical about it, right? In the book Atomic Habits, one of my favorite books on habits, I've probably read it almost 20 times. James Clear, he talks about what's called the habit loop, right? So he says any habit, any behavior there's 4 steps, right? He says there's the cue, there's the craving, there's the response, and then there's the reward. So everything that you do, whether it's a good habit or bad, it goes through these stages, these 4 steps: cue, craving, response, reward, right? For example, let's say you get a notification on your phone. Bzz. Okay, that's the cue. And immediately a craving sparks in your mind. Ooh, I gotta learn the contents of this notification. Maybe somebody liked my Instagram post. Maybe my crush, maybe she texted me, right? Maybe I got a text on some important business news, right? And immediately there's a craving. So what do you do when there's a craving? Now there's a response. I pull out my phone, right? Then I read the contents of the text, right? And then I get rewarded. I learned the contents of whatever the text was, and it satisfies my craving. Every single behavior follows this exact 4-step process, right? So we want to understand how can we manipulate this process to our advantage to make habits easier to stick to, right? That way we can do them not just for a week, but we can do them for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Okay, I'm in the business of helping people transform their lives and become gym goers for the rest of their lives, not just binging and making a little bit of progress for a month. And I'm sure you don't want that either. I'm sure you want to actually step into a completely new version of you that is muscular, that is finally fit and feels right, feels organic. Okay, so when we do that, we got to know how to set habits the right way. Okay, so here's how you can do it. When I use the cue, craving, response, reward to our advantage, you can do it like this. We go over here. All right, so when it comes to the cue, you can make it obvious. Make it obvious. When it comes, all right, so let's say, for example, I wanted to make the gym easier to stick to. We can make it obvious. We can make the cues of our good habits very obvious, right? So let's say I buy a bunch of gym clothes and I start giving away a lot of my random clothes that I would never wear to the gym. So if you have more gym clothes in your closet and you're constantly wearing gym clothes, guess what it's going to be easier to do? Go to the gym. Same thing with your running shoes, right? So even just, let's say you did this. If you pause this video right now and you went in your closet, you took out a gym outfit and you just went and put it in a very obvious spot that you couldn't miss it, right? Let's say it's right on your desk. I guarantee you, it's gonna be a lot more likely that you're oh yeah, you put it on, and when you already have the gym clothes on, it's very easy to go to the gym, right? So it's little things like that, right? Your protein powder, instead of tucking it away in the cupboard, get it right out in the middle of the pantry, the middle of your island, or the middle of your kitchen, smack dab in the middle, right? When you see it all the time, you're gonna remember, okay? So little stuff like that, okay? Number 2, with the craving, is we want to make it attractive, right? So right now, maybe you think of the gym as a chore, as something that's going to bring you pain, right? But that's all a story made up in your mind. In my head, I think of the gym as fun. I think of it as an opportunity to be strong and to make myself proud and to step into my vision of who I could become. So it's all in the mind, in the eyes of the beholder. Have you heard that before? Same thing, it's all about how you frame it, how do you think of it. So if you think of the gym right now as something as a chore, reframe your brain. No, it's not a chore. This is an opportunity to become who I was born to become. How exciting is that? Super exciting, right? You can also make it attractive by linking it with things that you like, right? So every time you go to the gym, maybe you get to drink a pre-workout that's nice and tasty, gives you some caffeine, right? It's gonna be more exciting and more attractive when you can have that supplement from some nice caffeine or your favorite coffee or something, right? Little things like that, right? Or you could bring a friend to the gym with you, like a gym buddy that's also going on this journey, and that can make it more fun too, right? So there's little things you can do like that. Okay, the last one, there's 2 more. Cue, craving, response. So when it comes to response, we want to make it easy, right? So like, let's say, back to like my phone example, right? Let's say like, oops, this is falling a little bit. Right, let's say like I got the notification on my phone, like I heard the notification, right? I wanted to learn it, but let's say like my phone had like a lock feature where I couldn't actually open any notifications without solving like a 15-second puzzle, right? So there's like a lot of friction there. So it's hard to like, it'd be hard to complete the habit loop because there's a lot of friction, right? So when it comes to the activities we want to dissociate from, like checking our phone all the time, you want to add friction, you want to make it hard. But when it comes to the activities that we want to do more frequently, we want to make the friction low. We want to make it easy, right? So in that case, something like the gym, don't go to a gym that's 45 minutes away. Find a gym that is on the path between where you live and where you work, or something like that, right? Another one that you can do to make it easy is actually don't do a workout program that is going to take hours. Like do something that is more efficient, more simple, right? Sounds super simple, but it makes sense, right? It's going to be easier to stick to when the workout program is nice and efficient and you're not doing a bunch of extra steps, right? Other things you can do to make it easy is just like have more, like having a program to actually follow, so you're not like, don't have that mind confusion or that mind fog of not knowing what I'm doing when I'm in there, okay? And I'll wrap this up, guys. The last one is reward, right? So we want to make it satisfying, right? So let's say like, for example, let's say you had your Instagram account and every time you finish your workout and you posted that you finished your workout, you sent it to your mastermind group, they're liking your post. They're like congratulating you. It's satisfying. It's like, oh yeah, you get that little reward, right? Also, let's say you have an app and you have a coach. Every time you finish and you send your workout to your coach and he's like hyping you up, or you get some feedback like, hey, you lifted this much weight. You're on a 30-day workout streak. It's that little satisfaction that completes the habit loop. Compared to like if you work out, but then you just like have no way to complete the loop, it's gonna be hard to turn it into a consistent habit. All right, guys, I know that was a little dense, a little long, but that's exactly my process that I use for myself to confidently say that I will never fall off from the gym. And that's what I use for my clients as well, to help them stick to the gym, stay consistent, be sustainable, and actually get results that last. Okay, if you want to see how you can actually implement this process for you in your own journey and customize it to your own personal struggles, just DM me the word optimize on social media, on Instagram, and we can have a conversation and I can see how I might be able to help. See you guys in the next episode.